Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel T-Spot. In this video,
1923 kicked off a month ago, and since then its trajectory has been going up with each episode. Despite being one of the middle shows between the modern-day Yellowstone and the origin story, 1883 and 1923 is far from having the middle child syndrome. It's well-designed, well-executed, and well-loved by the fans. And we believe when it comes to an ending, the fans will cherish it. Even more than 1883. That being said, the fact that 1923 didn't take the story immediately after Elsa's death in 1883 and instead decided to have a 40-year break inevitably caused the story to have some plot holes. These plot holes do not cause the story to be meaningless or create any unexplained developments in it, but they left some unanswered questions, or even though there are answers, they break the biggest rule of movie making: don't tell show. Unfortunately, the first few minutes of 1923, Episode 1 does exactly the opposite of this. Instead of showing the major events of the past 40 years, it just tells us about them in a couple of minutes through Elsa's voice. It's explanatory. Well, yes, sort of. Is it satisfactory, though? Absolutely not, especially. The death of Margaret and James Dutton will always bug us as the biggest off-screen incidents of the Yellowstone universe, and we don't like that. Still, we're glad we know the whereabouts of the two and can't wait to share all the details we know with you. Before 1923, all we talked about was 83. Since the first prequel of the Yellowstone universe had the most tragic ending, we found it highly difficult to move on from it. Even though many people criticize Elsa Dutton for many of her characteristics, from her accent to her quick change of heart, no one wanted to see her die at such a young age. We have watched her coming of age story for 10 long episodes, and we were completely invested in her storyline. So saying goodbye to her soul abruptly was a shocking blow to our faces. Thus, we were hoping for 1883 season 2 to be released so that we can get a glimpse of the Duttons surviving Elsa's death and moving on with their lives. Since we never got the chance to mourn with them, we feel like we left them in pain and couldn't grasp the notion of them moving on. Still, we have to admit that there have been a couple of flashback scenes in Yellowstone Season 4, and we appreciated them for providing a little bit of context on the Duttons' life after Elsa, but we don't think they were enough by any means. In one of the flashback scenes, we watched James with 2 boys riding horses in the mountains of Montana. Then they came across a Native American tribe who were in mourning since they just lost their leader. After confirming the Duttons' domination over the land, the Duttons gifted meat to the tribe. That was it. The scene didn't have any importance regarding the Duttons' life, but it had importance for modern-day Yellowstone, since the 2 stories got connected through some findings of that Native American tribe in modern-day Montana. Still, we saw that after Elsa, the family got one more boy who will grow up to be our rancher in Africa, Spencer, in 1923. In the other flashback scene, we watched James trying to catch a horse thief. He was great as always on the horseback and did not have much trouble catching him. And yet the job comes with its risks, and James wasn't on his lucky day, so he ended up being fatally injured. He managed to go to his ranch and family, but collapsed on the doorstep, causing Margaret and the boys to be outraged and sad. It was obvious that this was the end for James, but Yellowstone did not specifically express this during that scene. Thus of some of us continue to hope that things got all right for the family afterward. Up until 1923, Episode 1, we assumed that there was still a chance for James to survive all that. In fact, some even assumed that Harrison Ford was going to play the older version of James. Well, we were all wrong. 1923 started with a voiceover from Elsa. Just like in 1883, she made an introduction to the show. It seems like she will be a stable part of the Yellowstone shows from now on, and we are very much excited about it. It's like she's watching her kin through the grave, and we find it very touching. Naturally, she first mentioned her parents, Margaret and James. Turns out the scene that we watched in Yellowstone Season 4 was truly the ending of James, as he died because of those injuries. Unfortunately for Margaret, things didn't go much well after that. According to Elsa's narrative, Margaret sent a letter to Jacob, James' brother, after his death so that he would come to Yellowstone ranch and take over the business until the boys grow up. But until Jacob's arrival, Margaret already died. before being able to welcome her brother-in-law. It seems like there was a snow breeze in Montana that caused the boys to suffer from hunger and caused Margaret to freeze to death. What a tragic ending, isn't it? To be honest, we would wish for Margaret to have a better ending after all the things she has been through. By saying better, we mean a more heroic one, just like James' death. But when we consider the circumstances of the era, we believe she had a pretty realistic death that would be very likely to happen in real life. Now that we know how both Margaret and James died, we can watch 1923 with peace of mind knowing that they are together with Elsa in heaven. Were you a fan of Margaret and James, or don't you care about their deaths at all? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.